Hallelujah. We are back. Coffee and contemplation. Got some Wawa coffee today, so we're still slacking on cool coffee shit, but I got my co-host Duncan here. So if you guys have any questions, Duncan might be able to answer those. A little update. It's been a little while since I did one of these. I kind of spent this whole summer studying for my physical therapy board exam, which I took at the end of July and passed. So that's great. My lease ended in July in Philly, so I'm back in Westchester for a little bit at my mom's, and then hopefully transitioning to do some travel PT. We're looking at Arizona for our first rotation, so that's in the works. So I'm in this little bit of a waiting period, just like I was after my exam, that week after the exam. So that's kind of what I want to talk about today, is just maybe like patience and this thing about waiting, where things are kind of out of your control at this point, and how do you combat that? It's like a fork in the road in your life or something like that. They say that's where you meet the devil, because you're kind of just waiting in the wings. What's going to happen? So for me, during that like initial week after taking the exam, I'm like a head case. So it was not like an easy week for me. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I flew through that. I was just like meditating the whole time. I was like, no. I was like convincing myself that I failed. I had to retake it, going through all these questions in my head. And, none of that ended up being true, and I passed and it was fine. But how I tried to kind of combat that was spending time in nature, spending time alone, just because I felt like I was distracted around other people. So, I don't like that. So I felt like bad. But yeah, ended up passing. And, during waiting, I was thinking about like, if I failed, like, so what? You know what I mean? I put in all this work this summer. Like, I worked extremely hard. I never put in that much effort to study for something or do anything. And I felt prepared, and that's it. So, you show up and you take the test, and that's it. There's nothing more I could have did. I didn't leave any stone unturned. So at that point, that's kind of what I want to talk about today, is like doing your work without an expected outcome. If you just do stuff to the best of your ability, whether it works out or it doesn't, okay. But if you're just doing your work with the right intentions, I think things generally will work out the way they're supposed to. That's the quote for today. Like, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. I always admire people that can kind of just sit in the middle and be very even keel, because I tend to like get like caught up in either way with my emotions. But like, if you can just sit in the middle and just realize that, good and bad, right and wrong, like you said, triumph and disaster, like it's all going to level out at some point. It's all going to be balanced. And I need to like consistently remind myself of that. But just doing work because it's the right thing to do, because you need to do it. And so to be in this waiting period again now, it's similar, because that was like very intense. Like, did I pass or did I not? It's like, you passed, like, all right, cool. Now it's like, now what? I can do anything I want at this point. So decided to do this travel PT and transfer my license to Arizona. So that's like, they're telling me 4 to 6 weeks. And it's like, man, I really just want to get the ball rolling here. Like, I want to start my career. I want to travel. I mean, I felt like stuck in school for 3 years, stuck to get this career. I mean, this is 8 years in the making. But once again, coming back to that quote I put up earlier, which is, desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. Like, I had a big desire for 8 years, and that was to be a PT. And I'm here, and I'm a PT. And it's like, now I'm still like, well, when I get here. And that's a consistent theme in my life of like, when I get here. And I think that's a lot of people. but trying to kind of take myself way back and be like, look, nothing's missing. I have everything I need. Just appreciating the moment, being present, and things will go the way they go, but not being in such a big rush to get somewhere or do something. Like, to get to being a PT, I was just like, it couldn't have came fast enough, but it took 8 years. So, you know what I mean? What's another 4 to 6 weeks to get going in the direction I want to go, and kind of looking at it as an opportunity to sit back and spend some time at home, spend some time with my family, kind of reset myself, exercise, and get back to doing some things that I like to do, and enjoy myself a little bit. Even though I'm very much like, when you're putting in all this work constantly, it's tough to kind of slow down and be present, and just, I always feel like, oh wait, I should be doing something, but being like, all right, now it's cool to sit back and there's nothing missing. This is fine. We're here and you can just enjoy it. That waiting limbo period is a tough one. And coming back to meditations, coming back to things. I mean, talking about getting lost in your thoughts and getting caught down rabbit holes. It's like, I have myself fully convinced I've had that exam, but I didn't. So here we are. But I was thinking a lot about, if I did, what would I do? And this summer gave me such an opportunity to really learn and study. And I was like Jocko Willink says, good. If something doesn't work out the way that you want, good. It gives you an opportunity to, find a different way. Good. I didn't pass the exam. I get to study even more and learn even more to take it. So trying to take that approach of like, good, if things don't work out, like, okay, what's next? It wasn't meant for me. So now what? I do think there's opportunity in that. Like, you make plans and you have ideas, but things don't necessarily always go that way. So, okay, step back, relook, and, where do you go from here? I think it's an opportunity, and looking at it like that. And the biggest thing was too, if I'm like, if I failed, like, I'm going to be embarrassed. People are going to like make fun of me. It's going to like not look good. But then I was thinking about that like man in the arena quote, like, I'm striving to do something. I'm here trying, putting in effort to do something. Who cares what other people think? Like, I think we get caught in this judgment thing of like, we're afraid other people are going to judge us. Like, I mean, I'm speaking personally, but like, who cares what other people think? You're trying to do something. No one will fully understand or know what you're trying to do. If they're going to judge you, okay, screw them. Like, but yeah, like, cause I feel for like people that maybe didn't pass that exam and, have to kind of like go back and tell people like, yeah, I didn't quite get there, but it's like, you will. Like, just, keep sacrificing, keep working towards it. And yeah, like, who knows? Duncan is asleep on the job here, and that's not good. But yeah, I'm hopefully going to bring this podcast. It'll get a little bit more mobile here in the next few months, but trying to stay consistent with it. This is always something I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it. So the past whatever amount of weeks, I didn't really feel like, settled. Obviously, a lot changed to do it. And then also I'm like, sometimes don't really have shit to say or not motivated to do it. And I'm not going to like force myself to, but it is nice to be consistent with it. And I liked getting a consistent stuff out there and having guests. So we're going to continue to try and do that. Yeah. So hopefully this is just, the beginning of coffee and contemplation. And thank you guys. The journal for today. So the quote was, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. And then we'll put up what the journal entry will be. But thank you guys for tuning back in. Much appreciated.